What up? What up? What up? It's Rec League Podcast, man. This is episode number 59. My name is Randy Little. Uh, I hope if you're a regular around here, you know that by now. Um, if you want to keep up with what we doing on the social medias, at Rec League Podcast on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, at Rec League Pod on Twitter. Um, well, this week it's all about Saw. Spiral from the Book of Saw came out to theaters this past weekend, this current weekend, I guess. And it's just me and my guy Nick, E-Sig, our regular third stooge, third musketeer. He has some internet connectivity issues, so he couldn't make it. So Skype made a return for the first time since like last July. And excuse me. It's just me and Nick. We talk about trailers that came out, Venom, The Purge, and Kevin Hart's fatherhood movie. We talk about how dope the Knives Out 2 cast is shaping up, and then we talk about the Saw franchise. We talk about Spiral. We talk about all 9 movies in the universe. So if you haven't seen Spiral yet, come back and watch and or listen after you do. I ran a poll question for like the first time since, I don't know, January, and it was just what's your favorite Saw sequel, and my choices were Saw 2, Saw 3, Saw 6, and Jigsaw. Nobody picked Saw 6, but Saw 2 won that. Saw 2 won that if we're gonna bust out the results right quick. Saw 2 won narrowly over Saw 3, and Saw 2 won at 54.5%. Saw 3 got 36.4%. Jigsaw got 9.1%. Saw 6 didn't get a singular vote. And it's not bad. So recently on Blu-ray and DVD, stuff came out. Like this past Tuesday, Justice Society, the new DC animated release, Justice Society World War II came out. The Tuesday before that was Judas and the Black Messiah and The Little Things. This upcoming Tuesday, well actually, I want to say this past Tuesday, Shout Factory released All About the Benjamins and the 1976 King Kong as well. They're out, but that could have been the 4th. This Tuesday, Raya and the Last Dragon comes out. Tom and Jerry comes out. And then Shout is releasing Wildcats, the Goldie Hawn football movie. And then the 25th, before the next podcast, Paramount is releasing a butt ton of catalog titles. The Saint with Val Kilmer comes out. A Night at the Roxbury comes out. The Tuxedo with Jackie Chan and Jennifer Love Hewitt. Get Rich or Die Trying comes out. And a couple more. Shout is releasing City Slickers 2. And then Chaos Walking comes out as like the 2021 release that week. Theatrically, Wrath of Man came out on the 7th of May. And then the whole purpose for this episode, Spiral, came out this past weekend, along with Those Who Wish Me Dead, Angelina Jolie, directed by Taylor Sheridan. And then The Woman in the Window with Amy Adams is on Netflix. This upcoming Friday, Army of the Dead comes out on Netflix. That's actually limited in theaters right now, but it's officially on Netflix Friday. And then the weekend of the next podcast, A Quiet Place Part 2 comes out, and Cruella comes out. So I'm cooking up what we're going to do next episode. It's 2 weeks away. I'll figure it out. But stick around, man. Stay tuned. When I come back, me and Nick Goodman talk Saw. All right, nerds. We are a man short due to internet difficulties. Spectrum internet sucks. That's why we're back on Skype and the frame is squared. But we're just two squares talking about movies anyway. Nicholas Z. Goodman, say what up, people.
What up, people?
Yeah, like the title of this episode is Jigsaw, so you know what we're talking about. But some movie trailers come out. I would like to get the good man's reaction to Venom, Let There Be Carnage.
I kind of like the Venom trailer. I've seen like a negative reaction to it, and
yeah, I wasn't a fan.
I didn't hate it. It is very much the same vibe of the first movie. Like I was like, that looks like a sequel to the weird movie that we got a couple years ago.
I feel like
nobody talked about how weird Venom was.
Yeah, like Ruben Fleischer, of all his movies, this is probably like Venom was probably the least Ruben Fleischer, but he set up like this quirky atmosphere, and the whole breakfast thing does kind of feel like very Andy Serkis. But the rest of the movie, it was like Sony was like, don't change anything, or Tom Hardy was just like, don't change anything.
Yeah, the breakfast thing made me laugh. As I was hoping for like more carnage in the trailer, but at the same time, I'm like, we're not going to see full-on carnage for a while. Is it rated R? Have they said?
I don't think they've announced a rating. They're more focused on convincing people it's only in theaters instead of like telling fans, hey, like you're going to see carnage like rip somebody limb from limb. Yeah.
I'm not mad at that. I kind of like that that's where studios are going with their trailers now. It's like only in theaters.
Yeah.
I kind of like that.
I mean, you have to, so because you have to sell. Like we're the anti Warner Brothers.
Yeah, I kind of like that the stance isn't like wherever you watch movies. It's like only in theaters.
Yeah.
But I didn't hate I didn't like claw my eyes out, lose my mind. I didn't lose my mind over anything from the first Venom.
Yeah.
The way some people did. The trailers were like fine. I thought the movie was like fine. Some people like loved the movie. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, it's a solid 3 out of 5.
Yeah, it was like, to me, that's like the definition of a 3 out of 5 movie. Like, it was very unnecessary. But as far as unnecessary comic book movies go, like, it was not the worst. It was pretty okay.
When did it come out? 2018. It may have been my least favorite comic book movie of that year, but still, I mean. Infinity War.
Yeah, it came out the same year as like Black Panther and Infinity War and Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as any of those at all. But yeah, I mean, I'm there for it.
Yeah, of course. That's what I said. Like my reaction on Twitter was like, the Venom trailer was bad, but guess where I'm going to be opening weekend?
Yeah, like we get closer to it, I'm going to be more excited for it.
Yeah.
Until I read the reviews or something. I'll be like, I don't know. But, yeah, it did its job to me. Like, to me, the trailer was fine. Like, I was like, we got a trailer, at least. We aren't like, God, when is Venom coming out? Like, it's finally
for sure
out in the world.
It teased enough. It showed Woody Harrelson, and there was a blink of carnage. I guess, what's his name? Stephen Graham is supposed to be like another character who gets a symbiote eventually.
Yeah, in the comics, apparently his character is kind of important. And that's cool.
Yeah.
Because he's like good and everything.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I've loved him since Boardwalk Empire.
Yeah, he's like one of those actors, so.
And then, I feel like I'm forgetting a trailer release, but I had Venom and I had the Forever Purge. Did anything else come out?
That's all I've got. at least like recently, maybe in the last 2 weeks.
The Protege with Samuel L. Jackson, Michael Keaton, and Maggie Q. That looks good. I saw the trailer for that yesterday or Friday.
I don't think I've seen that trailer, which is rare. Yeah, no, there was a new Quiet Place trailer. There was the West Side Story trailer during the Oscars. That's all I've got, I think. There was like a new Luca trailer. But these are just trailers.
Yeah.
These aren't brand new things. The West Side Story was. But
trailer for the Forever Purge come out like 4 days ago. It looks like there's like a group of like antagonists who want the Purge to go on forever. And it looks for the last one in the series, it looks good enough.
I feel like with it being the last one, there's a lot they could do with that concept to make it like the big finale.
Yeah.
I don't know if they will. I feel like it's not going to be the last one.
Right.
Like eventually, they'll just be like, we make these movies for $5 million, and they make $70 million. So let's just keep making.
Let's do the Purge 6. Who's it gonna hurt?
Yeah. The Purge is weird to me. Like the first one is like everyone thought it was gonna be good, and to me, it's easily the weakest of all of them.
Ooh.
Which is weird. It's got like the best cast.
Yeah.
And like the best, like the idea is so good. But to me, it was just like they kind of blew the execution. It was like, oh, this isn't what I thought this movie was going to be. But it made so much money because everyone was excited for it. So then they made the second one what people thought it was going to be. Like they were like,
completely
let's have it be on the streets. And, you know, in the middle of the shit, not just like rich white people locked in a house. Like, oh no, they got in. Like, I don't hate the first one. I think it's okay. I saw it like a week after it was out, which is rare for me. But at the time, like, I had to work, and I saw it like a week later, and so it already had like.
Wait, so you saw I'm calendar flipping in my head. You saw The Purge the weekend that Man of Steel and This Is the End came out.
Yes.
That was busy. That was a busy weekend.
Yeah. I had time that weekend and saw those movies, and like me and two of my buddies, it might have been like even like the Monday after that. It was like it was like some time after, but it was like me and my buddies just like went and caught like an afternoon showing of The Purge, and it was like the rare time where I already had my expectations kind of low. Like I was like, oh, I heard this sucks.
Yeah.
And I didn't hate it. Like I was like, oh, that wasn't bad. Like that was okay. But then the second and third one, I was like, dude, why is this getting progressively better? Like, why am I invested in this stupid shit?
Let me see. I haven't seen them since the first Purge came out. So, if I remember my rankings correct, I think I have the original over the first Purge, for clarity, because the first Purge is the fourth Purge. And
I think I got first Purge second to last. Yeah. It was alright. Is Election Year third?
Yeah. Anarchy is second. Anarchy's the best one.
Yeah.
Election Year has like the over the top girls to one in their candy bar, right?
Yeah. That's what I saw Election Year in the theater and like I thought it was like I was like, this is way too good for this kind of movie. I was like, this is so good. Was this a 4 out of 5? Like, was this the best movie I've seen this year? And then, like, I didn't rewatch it until the first Purge came out. And when I rewatched it, I was like, I don't know if this is as good. Like, it might be as good as Anarchy, but it's not better than it. And then I was seeing, like, that, like, the girls were, like, out there, like, over the top. Bubba was up on the roof, like,
protecting the shrimp boat.
Supposed to be this old guy, and he didn't look that old. But it's still good. And I wish, like, that story would have kept going on.
Yeah.
What's his name? Frank Grillo.
I think Grillo probably didn't want to come back, and they just didn't have an idea where to go, so they're doing this prequel, and now they're doing the last one in the franchise. It's called Forever.
Maybe he'll come back for like a cameo. Maybe he'll move down to like Texas or wherever it is.
Wasn't like Aldous Hodge or his brother or somebody, Lakeith Stanfield or somebody was like one of the masked characters that just disappeared after election year?
Was Lakeith Stanfield the dude in the mask?
I feel like he was in Anarchy.
Was that him? I'm trying to remember. I know Aldous Hodge's brother, what's his first
Blanking,
name?
Yeah.
That sucks. I don't want to refer to him as Aldous Hodge's brother.
Couple
but
of
he's the dude who like comes into Ethan Hawke's house in the first one to like for shelter.
Yeah.
And then he shows up in. Did he show up in the second one? They're starting to blur together, but I feel like in the third one, he's like a part of this like big group, like big anti-purge group. So he's like a recurring character.
Edwin Hodge. Bloody Stranger.
Was Lakeith Stanfield the dude in the mask from Anarchy who was like terrorizing the whole time, and then he like took off his mask and he was just like a guy?
Probably.
I remember thinking that was cool. It's like, oh, it's just a guy.
Michael K. Williams was in Anarchy. Yeah, Lakeith Stanfield, young ghoul face. Wikipedia has no respect for the character names.
It's just Academy Award nominee Lakeith Stanfield, known for his role as young ghoul face.
Have you seen the show? Did you watch the show?
Do what?
Did you watch the Purge show?
I watched the first maybe 2 or 3 episodes of it and like fell off. Like my work schedule was weird.
Yeah.
And they canceled it. Like I bought the first season of it and I was like, yeah, if I buy it, I'll watch it. I never did. And then they canceled it. So I was like, well, fuck.
Stupid USA. Did it cross over at all? Were there any movie characters in the show, or was it its own thing?
Not with what I watched. There was no. It was just like
the first season took place in 2027, placing it between Anarchy and election year.
So that's kind of cool.
All right.
But they didn't mention that in what I saw, which was not much.
Hey, the kinky morgue chick from Jigsaw is in it.
Oh, the hot one?
Yeah.
I was watching that the other day
yes,
with my friend.
Nail on head.
I didn't remember her like role in the movie. Like I hadn't rewatched Jigsaw since the theater, and like I forgot her role. And I just remember it was like her whole thing. And I looked at my friend. I was like, she's unnecessarily hot for this. But then I was like, oh well, she's kind of like a bigger character than I remember. Like everything, she was like Jig fucking Saw, and I was like, see, you didn't have to deliver that line that way. You didn't have to be hot.
It looks like Ethan Hawke was in. They have him listed as a guest in the show. So there's your connection.
That's cool.
Huh?
That's kind of cool. I never heard about that.
Yeah, it was probably in season 2.
You know.
But it looks like season 2 didn't get any physical media.
No, it didn't. Not even a DVD? I feel like it got a DVD. Did it? Maybe. Who cares?
Right.
That's what they did with the Mayans. They just put it out on DVD and said, fuck y'all.
Yeah. I'm eventually, like, when the DC shows on the CW are done, I'm going to try to catch up on Mayans, because I haven't even sniffed season 2.
I fell off season 1. But I would rewatch. I would give it a chance. Again.
I guess it came out on DVD March 31st last year. And nobody bought it because they were worried about getting a virus.
The ultimate purge.
Yeah.
Let's purge everyone that buys this DVD.
No shit. So, next, I had, like, Knives Out 2, just, like, stacking up, like, the greatest cast of all time.
Yeah, I thought that.
Dave Bautista, Janelle Monáe, Catherine Hahn, and I feel like I'm forgetting somebody.
Edward Norton.
Edward Norton, yeah.
That's I usually don't like freak out. Like you've got some of these movie pages, and now I'm not making fun of them really, but
Make fun.
they'll post it like news, and they'll just be like, "Oh my god, I'm losing my mind over this casting, Catherine Hahn." Like I don't do that. I'm like, you can have the best cast in the world for a movie, and it can still suck.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna suck, but I don't like. But like, it's kind of hard not to when they just keep. They were doing it. It was like 3 days in a row, and they were like, "Well, you like Bautista. How do you feel about Edward Norton?" I was like, "Pretty good,
dude." Like Bautista's social media presence is just becoming like more and more corny. You didn't think I was gonna let 007 just get away, did you?
Yeah,
dude, shut up.
Yeah, it's like kind of. It's cool that he's building his like filmography up
like
in a kind of different way.
I'm like as far as like pro wrestling, like The Rock is my guy. I've been a fan of The Rock since like 1998, but like Bautista has a way better filmography at like even points in their career.
Yeah, like I think of his role in Blade Runner. He was like perfect in that little role. It called for someone with like big hulking presence, but like with a calm demeanor.
Yeah,
he like killed that. In like I don't even know if The Rock would have killed that role. Like I'm sure he would have done fine. I'm sure, but like it would have been like, oh, that's The Rock. It was like Bautista, like he's like
The Rock,
he can do a role like that.
Like Dwayne Johnson, like the businessman, I feel like he's locked in on like being the face of every project. So I don't know if he's humble enough to take like that little like 2-minute supporting role so Ryan Gosling can get his evidence or whatever.
Yeah, no. And it was like necessary for that. Like you needed somebody cool, so that scene. And like Bautista was the guy. And like he did it. Like that was cool.
It's like Bautista did like The Man with the Iron Fist. He was in Riddick, and then like a year later, he's Drax. And if we're like giving him credit like for getting like that huge role, like 2 years into like really acting, The Rock was in Be Cool at that point. Like The Rock didn't get that like level of like that push or whatever until like Fast 5.
Yeah, that was like a different level for he was more like another Vin Diesel for a while. It was just like, oh, like another action guy. And he's still kind of like that, but he's like global icon Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, dude, like he had Ballers. He like the first season of Young Rock just ended. He's got his own tequila.
I was always surprised he stayed doing Ballers for as long as Ballers was on. I was like, he's gonna leave Ballers any day now.
Yeah,
like he did.
He always credits like that on the road pro wrestler mentality. It was like, bro, like you gotta be stretched incredibly fucking thin, man. Like all these like churning out 2 to 3 to 4 movies a year and sitcoms, and I feel like there's some venture I'm forgetting about him doing.
He's got an energy drink now.
Yeah.
There's always something like it's like one of those things. I think that him and Kevin Hart get along so well. If you follow him on Instagram, it's like the same, just kind of like stay busy mentality, which is nice.
That fatherhood trailer came out. My eyes didn't get watery.
But I mean, that was fine.
Yeah.
I did see that trailer.
That is a jam-packed weekend. It comes out the same weekend as Luca and Peter Rabbit and The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard on that Wednesday.
God damn.
That's a busy weekend.
That's Father's Day weekend, too.
Yeah.
Which is why it came out.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'll be more excited for Knives Out when we start getting concrete stuff. Like, we get pictures, trailers, I'll start being like...
Yeah, like, I just want a trailer. Like, cast whoever you want.
Yeah, the cat, that's fun. That's awesome. I'm excited. But, these people are just, like, freaking out.
I'm not excited about it being on Netflix and not getting a fucking physical copy. Criterion.
I'm holding my breath a little bit. Because, like, I'm noticing more and more Netflix stuff coming out on physical. Not more and more, but like The Lovebirds is coming out. And what reason does that have to come out?
See, I think that every pandemic movie that got sold to a streamer, I think is going to go the Cloverfield Paradox route, be on streaming for a year, and then get a physical. Like, that's the hope.
And then, like, the Umbrella Academy, season 1 is, like, randomly coming out on Blu-ray.
That's weird.
2 years after it was on. So I'm, like, hoping, like, maybe. But not, like, I'm not optimistic.
Yeah.
It would be nice. But the Fatherhood trailer, that won't come out on Blu-ray. That's a Netflix movie for Netflix by Netflix. And it looked fine.
I don't know.
It kind of looked like.
I'm paying attention to all of these, like Sony, and Netflix, like have this deal, and I think Fatherhood might be Sony.
Oh.
So it's like if I think the Mitchells versus the Machines might be the first movie they put out, because like Vivo is the next Sony animation coming. But it's like Hotel Transylvania. That's too big of a property. Like, that's going to the theater.
Yeah. I wish the Mitchells vs. Machines would come out.
Yeah, that'd be like amazing
4K.
in the theater.
Watch the shit out of that.
Yeah,
that movie was so bad. I couldn't finish it.
Anyway, as I was just about to say, that's my like favorite movie of the year.
Yeah,
that
movie was so bad.
You come with your social media influencer hot take.
It served no purpose, and I hated it.
I only watched it. I'd watch Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'd just turn on the news to see Americans fight terrorists.
Yeah, I don't understand this, so it's bad.
Anyway, I want to play a game, Nick. Look, for the next hour plus, if you're watching our ugly mugs on YouTube, if you're hearing our angelic voices on streaming, or whatever your podcasting app of choice is, Spiral come out. We're talking the Saw franchise. I'm not going to regulate us to not talk spoilers with the traps we liked, the characters. And so if you haven't seen Spiral, come back and finish watching and or listening after you've seen Spiral.
If you haven't seen any of the Saw movies, they're all full of spoilers.
If you don't care, stick around.
Yeah, if you don't care, it's fun to talk about.
Yeah. So I guess we can just start with what you think about Spiral. I think we were close on the same page.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. Like, I might have given it like I ranked it like I think 3rd overall, which might be a little generous, but like I enjoyed it. Like it just kind of sucked me in, like the way like a cop thriller is supposed to do. Like, I was just like super into it. I think it's the best made Saw movie, I would say.
Which is crazy because it's directed by a guy who directed 3 of the sequels.
Yeah, and to me, those are the best, like 3 of the best sequels. And there's some people saying it's like, yeah, why would they bring back the director or the guy that drove it into the ground? I was like, you mean drove it to glory?
Right.
It's like they made more and more money as they went on. And
when he left, they started losing money when he left.
Yeah, well, I don't think they ever lost money, but I remember Saw 6 not opening at number 1. It was the first weekend Paranormal Activity was wide, and I had already seen it, so I was all Saw 6 that weekend. But it was the first weekend that was wide, and it went number 1, and I think that's when they thought, well, let's go lay this thing to bed. But like, it still made like 4 times its budget, whatever its budget was, probably.
Yeah.
But this one clearly had a bigger budget.
Yeah.
Not math.
Bruh. How much do you think Chris Rock and Samuel L. Jackson like asked for it before they even signed on?
Yeah, but like, it's cool that I feel like them being in it, like Chris Rock wanting to get it made, it shows like there's still, like, every review I've read now, It's like, I don't know if it's breathing new life into this dead franchise. I'm like, dude, people love Saw. Like, the people are fans of it.
Yeah.
Like, people see, there are lots of people that see past it being, like, you know, torture porn. That was, like, the thing for a while.
Like, that's the genre, right?
Yeah.
I was setting up my posters for my review. Like, I was setting up my posters for my review yesterday. And I was just like, I got a slasher, I got a home invasion. My one Saw poster, I was like, I had torture porn.
Yeah. Everybody acts like, oh, remember the torture porn. It didn't last long. It was just like there were like 7 Saws.
And 2-3 Hostels.
A couple Hostels. The only one I could really think of, there was that movie called Captivity with Alicia Cuthbert.
That's right.
And it was just kind of like a rip-off of all of them. It was just kind of like, I don't know, let's do it, but this way.
So I've seen.
That's really all I remember. I'm sure there were more.
Yeah, like when shit booms and makes money, man, everybody tries to capitalize.
Yeah,
but I've seen reviews that said that Spiral didn't feel like a Saw movie. I've seen reviews saying that it was that Chris Rock was horrible, and it's just like, bro, like those takes kill me. It's like Chris Rock, like I was sitting there and I got hooked like this. Like we said in the group chat. Chris Rock starts with that typical Chris Rock humor. Like his summary of Forrest Gump is going to become my Letterboxd review. Like it was great. It was funny. And as the story gets more serious, he gets more serious. Like I said in my review that's on YouTube, shameless plug. Last year was supposed to be like the summer of Chris Rock going against Brand, killing it in Fargo, killing it in Spiral. We didn't get them together, but it was still there. Like Chris Rock was great in this movie.
I thought it was it almost surprised me. Like I was like, you know, it kind of works. I don't know if I'm like the director or the whatever, if I'm in charge. I don't know if I would have been like, all right, Chris Rock, yeah, you gave me the idea, so you're the lead in this movie. I might have like looked for a more serious actor, but at the same time, no, like he was fun. Like I had no issues like with. There was no scene that was supposed to have like dramatic tension that I thought was hurt.
Yeah,
like Chris Rock. Like I was like, and like you hear his voice and something, and everybody's like, all I hear is the zebra from Madagascar. And I was like, well, that's your problem. If that's right? What you know Chris Rock from, that's your issue. But I mean, Chris Rock has been. I think we've talked about it before. Like, New Jack City isn't a comedy, and that's kind of his like breakthrough movie role, sort of.
Yes.
And he's kind of funny in it, but like not really. Like his character is like got a tragic kind of arc.
If I had to like nitpick like the thing I didn't really like, it was like him referencing New Jack City.
Yeah, some New Jack City shit. Yeah, I was with a friend. I looked over at her and she didn't. I was like, like I looked and she just like didn't get it. I was like, oh, racist. But no, I thought he was fine. Like you said, he did a lot of humor. It was almost like burnout humor. Like he'd been on the job for so long that he was just like always making little quips instead of taking it like super duper seriously.
It's that law enforcement sarcasm.
Yeah, and I thought it worked. Like I said, I don't know if it would have been my first choice. Like on paper, I'd have been like Chris Rock.
I think he walked into Lionsgate and was like, hey, like I'm a fan of this franchise. I have this idea, but I'm gonna Sylvester Stallone Rocky this shit. You don't get the idea unless you cast me as the lead. Yeah,
and I'm not like it didn't affect like my excitement for the movie either. Like when the trailer dropped last year,
right?
I was losing my mind. Like I was like, oh my god, another Saw, because like I don't know, I've always liked Saw. Some people don't like it, and that's that.
See, like me, like the first one, I put the first one up there with the original Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street Scream. Like I think the first one is fucking James Wan flexing genius. And
I did when it came out, when I was like 14. You could have asked me, and I would have been like, "Is it the greatest movie ever made?" Like possibly, probably. It's better than Casablanca. Now, like when I rewatched the first one,
Paddington 2. is better than
Yeah.
Casablanca.
Paddington 2 is a little better than Saw. But when I rewatched the first Saw, it's like one of the only ones that has like that I'll like nitpick. I'll nitpick the first one harder than all the rest.
Yeah, that's
And
what
to me
you do
that-
with greatness.
To me, and it's weird. Like the first Saw is like one of the only ones with like actual actors, like
Yeah.
name actor. But the acting is so much worse in the first Saw than all the other movies. It's so weird.
We will
I
not
don't know why.
besmirch the good name of Michael Emerson doing whatever he was doing.
Yeah, like he's kind of weird, and like Monica Potter is not particularly good in that movie, and like Carrie Elwes,
She looked good though.
it's like he's trying,
Yeah.
but he's not really. He's not like sticking the landing. And what's his name is not even an actor,
Lee Winnell.
and he was like as good as Carrie Elwes. Like they were in there just like
Yeah.
back and forth. Danny Glover carried that movie on his back.
For
Danny
sure.
Glover and Amanda, her little scene.
Insert Kenan Thompson gif for sure.
For sure. But I still like I remember the first time I watched Saw. Sometimes you don't remember. It's like, yeah, I saw it somewhere down the road and kept up with it.
It came out like my last like week or two of basic training, and I got to tech school. Like tech school was on the same base, like, and like learning your job, all that shit for the Air Force. And I called home, and my boy back home's going crazy. Like, bro, you got to watch Saw. You got to see this movie Saw. Like, it's so crazy. I'll always remember that shit.
I remember it like I remember it being small. Like The Grudge was the big horror movie at the time.
Yeah.
It was like all the kids were gonna go see The Grudge. I never saw a trailer for Saw like in the theater. I remember seeing it. You used to be able to go on digital cable like on demand and like watch trailers. This was before YouTube, so it was like if I was curious about something, it would be like, oh yeah, you can watch a trailer. Trailers out there, and I'd go on demand. I'd be like, oh, there's a trailer for Fantastic Four, and I would just watch it like before school and like sit and watch it. But I remember the Saw trailer being on. I remember watching the trailer like 8 times. Like I was like, this looks like 7. This looks like the best shit ever. This looks like something I want to watch. But like I didn't see it in the theater. Like I don't remember it being in the theater. I guess it was. I'm sure it was. But I was also like young. Like I was in high school, not driving myself around.
I think I've seen every Saw in the theater except 3
Oh, I saw.
and 1. I was deployed. I was deployed when Saw 3 came out, and I was in basic when Saw 1 came out.
Damn. But the DVD. It was like early, like high school. Really was like when I first started really getting into like zeroing in on like when movies were coming out to own and like looking at the cover art and thinking like, okay, we got a date now and like all this stuff. And I remember like the Saw cover art was like, you know, it was like said Saw and had the blade with like the foot on it. And I was like, all right, whatever.
the clear case with the clear slip.
Yeah,
it was
I
dope.
go into like Kmart or wherever I was, and I see the DVD, and I was like I flipped shit. Like I was like, I'm leaving this store with this DVD. Where's my mother? Like whoever I was with, I was like, I'm not walking out of here without this this clear case. This is too slick. So I got it. I convinced them, whoever I was with, and like I went home and watched it like that night, like late at night by myself in the dark. And it was just like effective. Like I was like, holy shit, this is the best. Like had it been the only Saw, I would probably hold it in like a little higher regard. Like
It
God,
easily could have been Lionsgate seeing dollar signs. It easily could have been just a one-off classic fucking.
It should have been
cop
like that's
thriller.
what James Wan, as a James Wan style is all over Saw.
Yeah.
But like he couldn't have, like Saw 2 and 3 and 6, like they would have been so different under the helm of James Wan. Like Saw is very James Wan, and had it been its own movie by itself, I'd been like, God, it's a bathroom. The 2 men wake up in the bathroom, and all they have are hacksaws, like the whole lore of the Jigsaw trap, like wasn't really a thing.
Yeah.
Like that was like, once you watch them all over and over and over, that's like the worst Jigsaw trap, as seen in my ranking on my Instagram.
Do you want to go through your top 50 Jigsaw traps?
Dude, I counted them all. Well, I didn't count them all. Like that's a. My friend was like, "Dude, you put so much effort and thought into that." I was like, "I really didn't. I went to a website to make sure I didn't miss any traps, and like I just like ranked them after I watched the movies. It really wasn't that hard. I just had to write a little blurb about them. But dude, the bathroom is like number 48 or something out of 50 or 47. It's in the grand scheme of things, that's the easiest Jigsaw trap to win.
I'm not sure though. Like I don't disagree, but if only Amanda, like if we're going through all the retcons, Amanda knows, Hoffman knows, obviously Kramer knows, and if they never come and check on you, you're eventually just gonna die because you didn't cut your foot off.
I get, but I mean, technically speaking, it's like if you win the game, you win the game. He lost the game. He had 12 hours. Nobody ever has been given 12 hours. Even like these dudes where the whole movie is them like going through some haunted house.
Yeah.
Dude, it's like you have 90 minutes to do this. And it's like, what the fuck?
When I was...
He had 12 hours.
Like around the time I was watching like 3, 4, and 5 and I was like freaking out over continuity and shit, I read that like Rigg in Saw 4 is the only one who like didn't have to do the game, and it was like his obsession like drove into all that shit.
My friend made a point in Saw 6, and like I didn't go back and like look, I just told her to shut up. In like Saw 6, when they do the merry-go-round, which I had ranked really high, she was like, the merry-go-round's not that great. I was like, it is. It's symbolic. It
yeah.
drives it home. She was like, he could have just not put his hand in the little thing and just let it choose people at random. I was like,
first 4 people just would have got shot.
I was like, yeah, like he did that. I mean, he just cut his hand. That's the whole point. It's like, how do you choose?
Yeah.
He just had to cut his hand because he had to suffer for it.
I think I would have alternated. I like sorry, like you all suck. Like 4 of you I won't have to pay. So yeah, like yeah. I'd have took the L, saved the first person, rested, took the L, saved the next person, killed the next one.
He saved 2 women.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. That was an effective trap. That's how I ranked them. I was like, effectiveness. It doesn't necessarily have to be the world's greatest trap or the world's gnarliest trap, but effectiveness.
I think by the time I was in the 30s, I was like, okay, like reverse bear trap's number 1.
Yeah, that's what I said. Like when I think of Saw,
yeah.
What do I think about? Like the first time I watched it, what affected me the most? It was dude hiding in the little girl's closet. To me, it was so much scarier than everything else.
Yeah.
And like the mom comes in and he's just standing there. Fuck that. But then also, I think of her waking up with the bear trap on. Like she did more acting with her eyes in that scene than Monica Potter did the entire movie.
Shout out Shawnee Smith.
Sorry, but she did, and it's terrifying. Now it was brought to my attention, like, but she didn't even get hurt. Like, she didn't have to do anything. All she had to do was cut the guy. And I'm like, yeah, but could you do that? Like,
no.
Especially if you're waking up and you've got like 60 seconds and you don't know where you are and you're trying to figure out everything that's happening and this thing is on your head.
Like, watching all 9 of these movies, knowing that this podcast episode was coming, I'm looking at all these traps like I'm a pussy. I would die. Every trap.
There's some of them I'm like, I think I could do that.
Nah, because like even like dude cutting his fat off and she cut off her arm, like I couldn't do that. The pendulum, crush your hands or the pendulum, I couldn't do that. The what was it, like the mausoleum that she was like, this one's cooler because it's in daytime?
Ah, that one's so cool to me.
I think I might be like, depending on if my eyes or mouth are sewn shut, maybe. Because it's like there was an axe there. It was rusty as fuck. You're going to get tetanus. But it's like, take the axe and slice the stitches in your mouth.
I thought that, yeah, he picked up the thing to, like, stab it, and I caught that before. I was like, couldn't he just, like, cut his mouth open a little? Just be like, hey, stop. But
and that's
I love
the
that.
lawyer dude who, that was the lawyer dude who ended up watching the monitors with Donnie Wahlberg about to get crushed, right?
Yeah. I like 4. Nobody else likes 4.
I like
but
4.
Me.
I like 4 because I like Lyric Bent. I don't know. I just like him as like the lead cop in that movie.
Yeah, he carries. Like I said, the acting and all the rest of them like is better. Like Donnie Wahlberg is better in 2 than anything in 1. Like him sitting and talking to Jigsaw. That's like, it's rich. It's rich with character development.
That's why I love 2. Like I forget where you rank 2, but like upon rewatch, 3 made the biggest jump. Because I like watched it this time from this is an Amanda Test movie, and I never did that before. And like I love 2 because I love the house. I love that Donnie Wahlberg is like given simple directions that he's just too caught up in the whole situation to pay attention to. And yeah, like he never learns, and he's still like rage filled at the end. And like the whole like his son being in that safe, he's in a safe space, just sit and talk to me and he'll be fine. And then when the safe opens, that's as shocking to me as Kramer getting up in the middle of the bathroom at the end of 1.
It's a good twist. Everybody knows, I mean not everybody knows, but everybody remembers the Saw 1 twist. Like it's like holy shit. And that's the only one anybody ever really talks about. There's lots of twists in the other movies, and like that's a good one.
Every movie has a twist.
Yeah, like I like 2 because it's really different than part 1.
Yeah,
and it really hit me on this rewatch. I was like, they really could have just done the same thing again.
And the Amanda reveal.
Yeah, quality twist. I was like, oh,
yeah.
I guess it helped her, and they made a point to show that. Like 2 is so different than 1. Like it's not, people hacking each other's limbs off. They're stuck in a house, and it's like a grimy house, and they're figuring it out, and there's traps throughout the house. Like 2 works. They treated 2 like we weren't setting up 3, 4, 5, and 6, and 7.
Yeah.
They treated 2 like this is 2, and we'll see where we go. 3 is kind of where it started being like, okay, we're gonna be doing. It's like when they made 3, they had to have known they were going to do like more of them. Because there's shit in 3, him putting the wax on the tape happens in 3.
Yeah.
He doesn't eat it in 3, but he's just putting the wax on the tape, and you have no idea what that means. But we find it out in part 4. That's why I like part 4. Because I was like, where can they even go?
I was also thinking this. Costas Mandylor, or however you say his name, is arguably the worst actor in the whole franchise. But he gets all the screen time. He gets arguably as much screen time as Tobin Bell.
I think he's okay.
Yeah, like he's serviceable.
He doesn't really have to do anything that like requires like insane like range. Whereas like who's the dude that plays the cop in like 4 and 5?
Scott Patterson?
He does have to do stuff that like requires like range, and he kind of, he's okay. Kind of straight. He kind of struggles a bit. But, I mean, it's fine. Like, nobody's, like, so bad that I'm like, this is awful. Like, they're all, like, fine.
The only actor who was kind of, like, front and center in any of these movies who I thought was borderline bad was Buddy from Saw 3D.
Yeah, he's okay. He's got his moments that are like, oh, this just sounds like wooden acting.
Yeah.
But at the Saw 3D, it was like they should have ended it with 5. They should have, as much as I like 6, and I think 6 is underrated, but like they should have ended it at 5. Like they should have found a way to like put something in with 5 to wrap it all up, and it could have ended with the whole glass box going in the ground thing. And that if that had been the end of the series, because I remember that was the tagline for 5. It was like, you won't believe how it ends.
Yeah, got it on.
And I feel like that's why I hold 5 kind of low. Because I remember seeing it in the theater, like, here we go. And then I was just like, that's how it ended? But there's going to be like a 6 and a 7. Like, it's not done.
I have 5 lower because I don't think the people, like, I don't think the players in the game, Julie Benz, Megan Good, like, none of that shit was connected to Jigsaw. It was just like, these are shitty people. Let's fuck with them.
You start wondering around that time, like, when is this happening? And it was like 6. I like 6 more than 5. Like, I think 6 is an absolute step up from 5. But watching 6, I was like, the game is going on with this guy, and it's super good, but they don't even reference it outside of it. It's like, meanwhile, Hoffman is killing every policeman in the station, and he's doing this and he's doing that. And I was like, is he running this game at the same time as this?
Yeah.
Or is this just happening? That's the only thing in Saw 3D, they reference the game. They're like, on top of this, there's another fucking game happening. Like, what are we going to do?
Like, it's on TV and all that shit.
Yeah, like, I'll give it the credit. And they're like, God damn it, I forgot about the guy. So, like 5 and 6, there's, like, shit going on. And at the same time, it's like, there's no way anybody's moderating this game.
Yeah.
Jigsaw set this up.
He's looking over his shoulder at every turn. Like, he's exposing all this shit, but there's still new games set up. Yeah,
that's the only thing about this. That's why they rank a little lower. Because, like, 4, I was like, you know, knowing what we know, Jigsaw dies at the end of 3. And that's like, wow. But it's like there's too much setup for 4. I go into 4 and I'm like, how are they even?
Yeah, it's perfectly believable that 3 and 4 are going on at the exact same time.
Once you know it,
that's one of the more underrated things about the whole franchise is that 2 movies are taking place linear.
Yeah, and she says, "Time to let's start our game like it's begun." And you're thinking like, okay, cool, you're doing it again. It's like, no, we got 2 games going on, like different parts of the city, and they're gonna meet up if everything works.
Dude, I want some nerd to take like all 9 of these movies, splice all the flashbacks and backstory, and edit it all together. I'd figure out how to watch that.
Somebody did that with Memento. They like put it as like backwards, and they just like played it forwards and like cut it up to the right. And I was like,
that's cool.
I didn't need this, but I'm glad I have this. But it's like Saw. Like, geez, like I mean, they go back. Like you're watching. Is it 5? Where it's, I mean, they're showing flashbacks of them like setting up the house from 2.
Yeah.
And laying the people down, like laying the dude down from 3 that was going up in the rack. And he was like, that's a human being.
Yeah.
Like, how much thought went into this? Like,
one of them,
I feel like it doesn't get credit for that.
Like 5 or 6 shows Hoffman in the pig mask snatching up Lee Winnell for the first movie.
Yeah, and they show him snatching up razor wire guy.
Yeah.
All that stuff. And I'm like, how much? I'm not saying it's fucking like Inception, but like how much thought went into this? That they were like writing this down like, oh, we're going back and we're going forth and we're going back.
I wonder like if the producers, Darren Lynn Bousman, Kevin Gutierrez, whatever his name is, if the producers or directors or anybody was like, went to James Wan, like, look, we have these ideas, but we want to know, like, are you cool with us retconning your movie? The one that started it all.
I mean, they had to bit.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, it's also like some people, it's like, maybe it's just not your thing. Like, a lot of people write it off. I feel like horror heads love Saw. But, like, a lot of, like, cinephiles are just like, look, these movies have always been stupid, and they got worse and worse. And it's like, that's fine. Like, it's not your thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, a lot of thought went into the, like, more thought went into the overarching story of Saw than went into the last 3 Star Wars movies. I said that, I was like, this is what Star Wars should have done for the last 3 movies, which I loved.
Yes.
They didn't have, like, an overarching idea. They were like, all right, let's continue it. Fuck. I was like, this isn't The Mummy. You don't just continue, like, do another one. It's got to be a connecting thing. And Saw was like, well, we're going to have Saw 3D connect all the way back to the first movie.
But are we... like, I like Jigsaw. I think it's one of the best sequels, honestly. But
It's
it implies, like, or it negates, like, all that backstory, doesn't it?
yeah. I've got Jigsaw ranked kind of low. I enjoy it, and I knew I enjoyed it in the theater, and I remembered the twist, but I hadn't rewatched it in the theater, which had been like that's been 3.5 years ago.
Yeah.
So I was like trying to remember how that twist came about. I was like, I remember who's doing it. I remember, I don't really remember why. I was like, I forgot little things about it. So I'm like watching it, trying to figure out. I was like, I know this is taking place here, and this is here. How is this happening? So like it kept me guessing, but like at the end, I wasn't like, oh, like I was like, oh yeah, oh that's cool.
Yeah.
I was kind of like, oh, okay, so it's another one.
Yeah.
But it was like, there's parts of Jigsaw, like what is that cone? What is that thing? They go in and she's like, yeah, I heard Jigsaw made one of these. Like, what the fuck is it? He made it out of what? He made it out of, like, is that a farming tool? I've never seen a farming tool that serves a purpose.
That's what, it was cool that they kind of said that where the game's taking place is like on land that his wife's family owned.
Yeah.
And that was cool.
The biggest barn of all time.
But it's like they specifically like Saw 4 or 5 shows the first trap with the knives, the dude like the fiend, the crackhead that killed his baby is the first victim. But then Jigsaw completely was like, no, fuck that shit. He helped this dude that was in the military way before all this, and we're supposed to just roll with it.
He decided that I should die because of an honest mistake. Like, really? At the last possible second, he decided that?
Yeah.
I thought I remembered that differently. I remembered it being because, like, he didn't wake up. I remember thinking, like, oh, man, that's why he pulls him out. He's like, oh, this isn't fair. But that was not the case. But I like Jigsaw. It's, like, clearly has a bigger budget than some of the other movies. Yeah. And I think that helps. I think it just gives it, like, a fresh coat of paint. Like, it looks nice.
See, and that dude, I was hoping that dude was going to be in Spiral, but no.
It would have been a nice little wink. But at the same time, like, Spiral is its own movie, and I wasn't mad. I was like, this is, like, sometimes franchises will branch out like that, like, no, this is its own thing. And I'm like, come on. This one I was like, this is like, we don't even know what, like, this is in another area of the country. Like, this is just something.
Yeah. I read, I don't know where, it could have been Wikipedia, so it could be complete bullshit. But I read that somebody said that Spiral is its own thing. Like, it's not Saw 9. So if they...
Darren Lynn Bousman said that.
Oh, that's dope. Well, then that confirms it. So pushing forward, they could do Saw 9 or they could do Spiral 2. I want both. I'm selfish.
Somebody announced, like, Saw X was coming out.
Yeah.
And he said that was a premature announcement. He said, because this is not Saw 9. He said it's the 9th installment. But he said, they could still do Saw 9. They could do Jigsaw 2. They could do Spiral 2. Like, they could do whatever. And, like, yeah, like you said, I'm just kind of... I would like to continue the Chris Rock thing. I don't know how, but I wouldn't mind seeing him again.
Yeah, like, it's...
Yeah, we're doing spoilers. He's not dead at the end of Spiral.
Yeah.
We're not spoilers. Fuck him.
I mean, let me cap this shit off before we get deep into Spiral. All right, Spiral time, folks. I don't even remember where we were. Spiral. See, like full spoilers. This is like your second, third, fifth warning. Spiral is not a Saw movie. It takes place in the same world as the other 7 Saw movies, 8 Saw movies. But it is a killer who is inspired by Jigsaw, John Kramer, to dish out his own brand of justice. Like, I was into this shit. Like I've said on my Letterboxd, on my YouTube reviews, I think I told you in the DMs. This movie had me guessing up until the reveal. At different points, I was like, Chris Rock is the killer. You can't convince me different. Samuel L. Jackson's the killer. You can't convince me different. Max Minghella, Marisol Nichols. I thought they all could have fit the killer role, and until the reveal, like, it just kept me guessing. The tension was dope. For the 18th time, the acting was good from everybody, and like, it's crazy to say, like, I'm not the hugest horror guy, but there's a lot of horror that has me hyped this year, and this is probably gonna be up there as one of my favorite horror movies of the year.
Yeah, this was like last year when it was supposed to come out. We had Candyman was coming, Invisible Man was coming, A Quiet Place 2 was coming.
Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween was coming. Even with Halloween, I think this might have been my most anticipated horror movie of last year. Just be like the prompts. Like, I was like, another Saw?
I think Halloween was mine until that Candyman trailer came out, and then Candyman took over.
Candyman, like, I'm still really hyped for Candyman. Like, Candyman, that's not a remake, but that's like a it's like we're rebooting Candyman.
It's gonna be a spiral Candyman movie.
Yeah, this was like, to me, I was like, this is like a new Saw. Like, this is like a new. It's like what are they gonna do with Saw to like bring Saw back? Like, I was like, we can remake Candyman or like make a timely update of Candyman. We're gonna do another Halloween sequel. Like, I'm excited. Like, it's like Saw, Chris Rock, and like Saw. And like, the thing about the Saw movies to me that I've always liked, and I have to explain to people like why I watch this bullshit. They're like, well, how can you watch that? The whole police procedural aspect of it is just, if you can invest yourself in it, is so fun to watch.
That's what I told you guys. Like, I was so into the investigation from movie to movie, and even in this one, the whole cop aspect of trying to figure out who's responsible for this shit. Or, like, John Kramer's dead. Like, who's taking over? And this one, is it John Kramer? He's been dead for like 20 years. Is it a copycat? Like, that was the interesting part of Spiral.
I've shown it to people over the years. I remember Saw 5 came out in 2008. I was dating this girl, and on the search, she very much seemed like the kind of person who would not be into something like this. But like, I explained it to her, I was like, babe, we're gonna have to watch Saw 5. I'm seeing Saw 5 in a week or two, and like, watched it with her, and she got so into it. She's like, God damn it! Like, she was so mad. She was like mad at herself. She's like, you have to watch the next one to see what happens.
You're not married?
See? No. What?
Absolutely not.
But I did that again recently with this. I have a friend who hadn't seen any of them, and she texted. I was like, I'm telling you, you watch it. You watch 2. I was like, you watch 2 and 2 ends, and it's like, fuck, I've got to watch 3. There's a 3. I've got to see what happens to 3. And then once you've made it through 3, like, you're not going to stop.
Yeah.
There's no point where you're like, this sucks. You're like, God damn it, I've got to see what happens next. And so, Chris Rock came up with this idea for Spiral, and he understood that. He understood that was a big part of the appeal of the story. And obviously his idea was to center it around dirty cops. Like, he said, this is how my mind, this is how his pitch went in my mind. Like, he's saying, it's always been about this investigation, about these cops. It's like, what if we turned it on the cops? Like, if we told this story through Saw, like we do Saw to them.
Yeah.
And it's like, on paper, it sounds kind of, it's like, I don't know if this is the best way to be telling this kind of like social justice kind of story. But like, it's new, it's something. I was like, it's
relevant.
Had my attention the whole time. I was too invested in it to like give it a negative review.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't high art, but I was too into it. Like, in the theater, in the dark theater, I was just like,
I think I ranked it 5th.
Yeah, I think he did too. I ranked it higher. I just think, like, it's like Jigsaw, like rewatching Jigsaw, like I was like, that was fine. I'm already like, I want to rewatch Spiral. Like I'm already like, I found out the Short Pump theater is open now. I thought they weren't open until A Quiet Place.
Gotta love the Short Pump shout out.
Yeah, Short Pump. And they're playing Spiral on IMAX. Hey. And I'm real tempted to like just go see it again. Give it a couple days, I won't go to it. I'll be like, I'll wait. But
if I had an IMAX in reasonable driving distance, I'd waste so much money.
Yeah, I'm seeing A Quiet Place in IMAX, and like, why? Why? It's not gonna be like massive. It's gonna be quiet.
That tension,
whatever,
bruh.
Right, so I said like it's gonna be fun. It's like it's because it's fun, okay? Like I would have seen Spiral in IMAX had it been open on Thursday night, but to my knowledge, it was not. But yeah, so that's why I was like, I didn't have that with Jigsaw, and I was real excited for Jigsaw when that came out. I was more excited for this, I felt like.
Yeah.
And the rewatch for this was more fun than my rewatch for Jigsaw.
I said the same thing.
Like, I rewatched all of them for Jigsaw, and it was like I started catching things. I was like, dude, does 7 suck? Like, I was just like...
Yes, all 3D's trash.
I was like, is 3D... Is this awful? Like, rewatching it this time, I was like, it's not awful, but it is clearly the worst one.
Yeah.
But I was finding something to love about all of them.
But it was in the first... For 3D for me, I was just like, how in the actual fuck is this trap just in the public?
I ranked that one low because I said it's cool that it's in public because it adds like the new thing. It's like, this is the final one, fuckers. Like, we're in public. That's one of the easiest traps. Like, how did they both not just be like...
I feel like if one of the guys pushes the blade toward the other one, and the other one leans back as far as they can while the other one's leaning forward, that takes the blade away from her, and neither one of them are getting hit. And the cops were right there.
They were there kind of late.
Yeah, it's not like the shit was going to explode if one of them didn't die.
They just immediately were like, you or me, asshole. And I was like, how do you not hear that? Did you listen to the puppet?
Yeah.
He came out and said, he even said, she is toxic. And I was like, oh, that plays pretty well in 2021.
Yeah, that trigger word way ahead of its time.
And I was like, did you not listen to Billy the puppet? He said, do nothing. And I was like, how do you not think like...
That's my who named the puppet? I don't remember ever seeing an origin for this puppet.
James Wan's name on Instagram was Billy Puppet, or Creepy Puppet.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, he was always Billy the Puppet. And it was like, one of the first jobs I ever had was working at Party City, and that was like a super popular costume. I was like, you're walking around dressed like the Saw puppet? Like, it was never a person dressed like the puppet. I was like, if you dress like this, I would like sell it to people. I was like, if you dress like this, you have to go get a little tricycle. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was like. You can't just walk in there like, hello, I'm here to play the game. That's not him. That's not Jigsaw.
Detective so-and-so, I want to play a game.
What's something funny about Spiral? For some reason, I thought 21 Savage did all the music for it, like him and his like...
I was jamming to the soundtrack. I just like the beats.
It's not bad. Like I said, they put out a little EP like for the side. It's pretty much just all the songs from the movie, and it's kind of good. I've never really listened to 21 Savage like that.
Yeah, me neither.
I kind of liked like the song, like with the Saw beat. Like I was kind of like doing the white boy head bob like in the theater.
yeah.
But like, he was in a lot of the promotional material. Like they put out those little posters with everyone's face like spiraled out, and he was one of them. I thought he was in the movie, and like I even tagged him like on the poster. I was like, "Dude, 21 Savage in the movie." And so for some, and every time, maybe it's him. So I'm like picturing this dude, like this little rapper dude with like tattoos on his face. Hello, Detective Banks. I'm here to play a game with you. And I was like, it's 21 Savage. He's gonna get him.
That was perfect.
Hello, Detective.
Yeah.
But it was not him. And as it kept going on, I figured out who it was before it happens.
No.
That it took a little bit of the thud away from the ending, but I thought it was still solid.
Maybe all my guessing hurt the reveal for me. Because if that's where we're heading, let's just put it on the table.
Yeah.
I thought at one point I was like, yeah, like Max Minghella is definitely the killer, and then he died, and then
See, that's what they were trying.
Yeah, they fucked me. Like I was the sap in the theater. They don't show him get snatched up. They don't like. It was just like, hey, like we should have been partners the whole time, and then he's dead, and I was like, oh, and they got me. Because after that, I was like, okay, like Samuel L. Jackson started to act sketchy. Maybe it's him. And then it was just like he's going through this factory or wherever the finale is, and he tries to save the dude that's getting shot up by the glass. And then it was just like, hey, like he's alive. He just walks in a room and he's there. Like it didn't stick the landing for me. The way that he gets up in the bathroom at the end of the first one, the way that the safe opens in the second one, whatever, fucking Carrie Elway's at the end of 3D. It wasn't as effective as the other ones.
It wasn't like a massive reveal.
Yeah.
Which was fine. Like, they didn't, in fairness, they didn't really frame it that way. Like, it's, who is it? Open the door to find it. Like, it was just kind of like he walked in, he was like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Like, it was just kind of like that. It's like, in fairness, that's like what they were going for. But everyone around me is like, oh no, oh, he's dead. And that, for me, I was like, nah, that's the clincher right there. Like, I kind of leaned back in my chair, like,
Fat Joe.
They didn't show it. And I was like, now, to their credit, they didn't show Finger Guy right away.
See, yeah, that I was like, oh, they didn't show the kill, they didn't show the trap, so this one is getting ranked lower. And then they cut back to it. I was like, okay, this is gross, but okay.
To their credit, yeah, I did hold out. Like, I wasn't like, that's it. He did. Like, I was like, wait. I was like, well, maybe they'll show it. But, like, my friend I was with, she was like, oh no, oh. I was like,
Rookie.
Fools, all of you. Like, I was like, looking around. I was like, they didn't show him get snatched. They were just like, oh, he was skinned.
Yeah.
To me, I was like, he had to skin himself? How was he skinned? Where are we? We're in like a butcher shop. Like, who did this? But I waited a little bit. I was like, maybe we won't show it. But it just kept showing Chris Rock. No. Damn it. No. And I was like,
I've got to go talk to his wife before the news or whatever.
Yeah. I was like, are we going to see it? Yeah. Like, he didn't do it. Like, I was like, are we going to see him talk to his wife? Are we going to see this trap play out? Are we going to know the reason why he was a rookie? And I was already on to him because I was like, he's the new cop. And everyone else has been on the force for like 40 years.
Yeah.
And he's the new cop and gets put on the case.
Do you know how many strings I had to pull to become your partner? His whole backstory and reasoning was very cool. Like having like the baby crying on his laptop, I was like, oh, that's clever.
That was cool. It was simple.
Yeah.
I was like, you don't want it to be too convoluted. The simpler, the better with Jigsaw. That's why a lot of my rankings with the traps, I was like, I like this one because it's simple. The shotgun keys from Jigsaw. I was like, doesn't get any simpler than that. He was putting them in there while he was talking to him. They just weren't looking. We weren't looking. It's simple. It's simple. And I like, his little backstory was like, yeah, you killed my father.
I've been loyal to you since.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Holds water. I was like, oh, yeah. They were talking about this. Like, I shouldn't have killed him. He had a family. And when they're in the church talking to Pete, he stares at Pete just a little too long. I didn't think too much of it, but I noticed it. He walks out and he's like, yeah,
I was too locked in on the guy talking to Chris Rock about loyalty.
He's like, what an asshole. Do what?
I was too locked in on the guy like shitting on Chris Rock about loyalty and all of that to pay attention to the partner.
I noticed it was like when he left and Chris Rock left and he just kind of stayed for a second. I'm like, then it turned out, and it was, they kind of played it off. He was like, "Man, what an asshole!
I
Like,
could do this right now.
You're the asshole, but he's the asshole.
Yeah.
Come on, what an asshole!" And it was like, I was like, caught it because I was trying to look at everybody. It was like you said, I was trying to look at everybody. Given the possibility, I was like, could it be the police chief girl?
Yeah.
She's got a high pitch voice. Could it be?
So she's been fine since Vegas Vacation, so maybe it's her.
Yeah. So I was like, maybe, but it wasn't her. She had a gnarly trap.
Yeah.
These traps were effective. They weren't the most creative or like craziest saw traps, but just like the way they were framed, it was like it got back to that. They were like haunting. Like they were like, ooh, this could be, oh.
Like again, like putting the DM conversation on wax. I thought that the spiral traps were just a little more like sinister, sadistic. It was like, hey, like you lied about these people, rip your fucking tongue out. You did.
I like that.
Yeah, it was like you did this. Now pull your fingers out. Hey, you okayed all this corruption. Get covered in wax or sever your fucking spinal cord. I'm gonna get covered in wax because I'm a bitch.
I like that. You said you won't walk out of here, but you'll let. I was
like,
oh
that's
no,
fucked up.
That's probably the best trap of the movie.
But,
I don't know how they made it.
Yeah, but again,
as with a lot of the traps, I'm like, how the fuck?
The weakest trap of the movie was the very last trap because I fully expected SWAT's gonna knock this door down. Samuel L. Jackson's arms, legs, maybe even head are all getting yanked out of his torso. No, he just laid there.
He like pulled a gun on the cops. And
they just shot him up. Yeah,
and that's cool. Like I get like, you know, especially now. Like this was supposed to come out a year ago, and you know now this is a big topic of conversation. So it's like it could have played a little more effectively than it did. But I thought it was cool, but it was like, that's the abrupt ending. I feel like you said that. And you're like, it was like, it just ends. And then it's like, well, yeah, I got what else are we supposed to do? They could have let it.
And see, like, I think
a little bit.
If they want to spiral a kind of mere Saw, it could be cool for like another 2 or 3 movies to just have Chris Rock chasing Max Minghella while he's setting up all these games. It could feel redundant and repetitive, but there could also be just this tension, this cat and mouse tension.
Yeah, I don't know how much I want just like another movie with Max Minghella as just the bad guy, like he's the new Jigsaw. Unless it's continuing this thing with Chris Rock, like
like Chris Rock has to come back,
figuring it out. Like if they're just gonna make a Spiral 2 and it's just like,
I don't want a new cop.
Shit. I'm like, I'll go see it.
Of course.
But like,
Chris Rock has to come back. I don't want like the random SWAT team guy who like saw him out the corner of his eye, close that cellar door, become like the new face of the movie. Yeah,
no. That's what would have happened 15 years ago. But like now I feel like we've moved on from that. But yeah, it's like I said, I was just too into, even like with its shortcomings. Not even shortcomings. It's like I feel like I go into a Saw movie, I'm not expecting to give it like a 5 out of 5. Like, I'm like, I just want this to begin. I want this to continue whatever the story. I want it to suck me in and get me there.
And that's what it did.
And I thought that's this one did. Whereas sometimes like when I saw 3D and like 5, like I was like, oh, wasn't exactly what I wanted. This Spiral was like, good job. You did it. You gave me a new Saw movie, new cop thriller. I keep telling my mom, like, my mom loves all those cop shows. And I just tell her, I was like, man, if you could just get past, like, the violence and all the grisly shit, I was like, you love these movies. You would have loved Spiral.
Right, it's like...
comparing it to 7. Everybody compared Saw to 7 when it came out.
Yeah.
A lot of people did.
Yeah. It's like I made I made a letterbox list.
Kind of movie.
What's up?
But you cut out a little bit.
Yeah, you cut out too. But I made a letterbox list of cop movies, and it's like the Saw movies are cop movies, But it's like, are they like the Lethal Weapon, Die Hard? Like, do I want to add them? Like, I have 7 on, like, 7 is ranked like 2 or 3. I could easily put every Saw movie on this list.
It's like Spiral is absolutely a cop movie. It's like as much a cop movie as it is a Saw movie.
Yeah.
More so.
Well, it's
not. I like that.
It's not a Saw movie.
Yeah, it's not.
It's like, that's cool. Like, if you're paying attention and you read Spiral from the book of Saw, that tells you right there. It's its own thing in this universe. So I don't know if we set it off wax or if we were recording, but they could do Spiral 2. They could do Saw 9. They could, like you said, Jigsaw 2. I don't want another prequel though that negates all the backstory from the original series.
I don't want bullshit. I want a reason for it to exist. That's why I feel like I rank Jigsaw kind of low, because I do enjoy it, but I was just kind of like, was there a reason for that?
Yeah.
Are they gonna make a sequel with that guy, or was this just like, got you fuckers, you thought, but yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, it's like, I want Saw 9 to be maybe the dude from Jigsaw like goes rogue, like it's like part of that movie takes place after 3D, but a lot of it is a prequel to the original. So if because he kills Callum Keith Rainey at the end of the movie, and that's present day or whatever we're calling timeline. So if he goes and does his own thing, and let's say Carrie Elways is hurting for money and wants to come back, and if he's a disciple, like they both come from the same coaching tree of John Kramer. I don't know.
They could fast 5 the shit.
Yeah.
Real quick. Max Minghella, the coroner guy, Carrie Elways.
Right?
And fucking Chris Rock has to stop him.
I want the loose ends tied up.
I watch it.
Yeah.
You never saw, what's his name, Hoffman, you never saw him die.
Exactly.
They just left him in the room.
And that too, like, he did. Amanda did the reverse bear trap. Maybe that's why. I'm thinking of Amanda in the first movie doing the reverse bear trap. She took the shit off, found the key, took the shit off. He had the reverse bear trap. It snapped. He had to rip his cheek out because it snapped, right? Yeah.
He like pushed it in the window and like took it off. Yeah, it fucked his face up.
Yeah.
That's how you know that's the best trap, because they did it 2 more times.
Yeah. And they show it. They show it in Jigsaw. So what Jigsaw is 8? So the reverse bear trap shows up in at least like 5 or 6 of the movies.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said in your trap post, like it's on the advertisements of the original. It's as much like you see that thing, and that Saw as much as the puppet or Jigsaw himself.
That's Saw, and that's the first real trap that you see. It's like they kind of say, they're like, oh man, razor wire guy, oh that sucks.
Yeah.
But it's like they sit her down and she explains what she had to do, and they show it, and that's really the first time you're like, oh, at least for me, when I was like 14, like I was in high school, I was like, oh man, that's fucking crazy.
Right.
And as the movies go on, they get more and more crazy, and it just gets, bigger and bigger. It loses it's like more fun. Yeah. It's like, oh no, oh, pipes to the face, oh. The bear trap isn't fun. It's like, it's a horror device. And it's designed to be scary, and it works. That's how I felt Spiral. All of the traps, I'm not going to say they're on that level, but they all worked that way. They weren't really fun. They're kind of fun, like, in a gory sense, like, oh no, but, like, they were scary traps. Like, just the framing and everything. Like, dude wakes up and his tongue is fucking
like, first 5 minutes, I'm sitting there like, well, that sucks. Like, I'm not jumping down because I'm going to get my tongue ripped out. But I'm got to get hit by the bus, so my tongue's going to get ripped out. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, like,
and it's like his hands became available.
My spinal cord.
Yeah. Right? But the first dude, like, his hands became so free, and I was just like, is there any, like, nuts or screws or anything he could mess with to try to loosen this up? But no.
No. Jigsaw doesn't make mistakes. It's like what's his name said in 5. But yeah, that's that. If Spiral was good one way, it was that. Like people say it didn't feel like Saw. I'm like, well, what feels like Saw to you? Is it
Exactly.
silliness? Is it pendulums swinging from the ceiling, or is it you wake up and your tongue is fucking nailed to a thing? Like that was something in a lot of the movies. I look at these traps. I'm like, who built this? Who in the fuck built this fucking miracle of engineering? Like, look at this amazing thing. This one, I was like, look, it's been years. This was his job. Like, this was his thing for however long it took him to build these. I'm like, okay. He knew how this place worked, so he rigged it to have these chains pull your fingers off. I was like, I'm not thinking too hard into it. Like, I'm like, okay, that's fine. But I rewatched the sequels, I'm like, she's hooked up the angel trap. I'm always like, who the fuck invented that?
Right.
Who drew the blueprints for that? You're telling me Amanda was like, look what I did.
Like,
no.
How do you even connect something to someone's rib cage that even after they've fucking elbow deep into acid?
How does
Ow.
Dr. Gordon get that much anesthesia? Like, he's like, we're going to knock them the fuck out. They are not going to feel you shove this thing in their rib cage. That's why some of those tracks ranked lower than they should. It's like, oh, they're cool looking and they're effective looking traps, but it's like,
yeah,
like
the logic.
Who installed a pendulum? No one noticed.
See, that too, because that was Hoffman getting revenge on the dude that killed his sister, and he's not even like kicking it with Jigsaw yet. So how is this possible? You're a cop, dog. Like, how did you do this?
You had to go buy that. Like, let's say you went and bought that off the black market somewhere, and it's like, I've got a pendulum.
Yeah. You
had to take it there. Like, you had to tie that shit, put it in a truck, or you had to take it there. Someone had to help you carry that bitch in there. You didn't go in there and build the pendulum. How'd you install it up there? And no one noticed? Like, you had to get scaffolding permits to get up there and fucking build that shit. You didn't. Like, that's where the
exactly.
Like, oh, it's cool. It's cool watching a pendulum kill somebody, but how? It takes you out of it a little bit.
Exactly.
I didn't get taken out of the spiral traps. I was like, well, he's had years. Whoever's doing this was their objective. Like, they set this up.
Yeah, because what? He, at oldest, oldest, Max Minghella is like 30. At youngest, he's maybe like 24. But his dad died when he was like between like 9 and 11. Like, he had time. Yeah.
This is all he's been doing for years. And especially once you know that, it's like, oh, well, fuck yeah. Like, that day, he was probably like, God, I'm going to do Saw to them. Like, he was just like, that was his goal. I'm going to do Saw to these cops.
Yeah.
So,
like, that shit irks. Like, yeah, the whole it doesn't feel like Saw shit, like, really irks me. Because, like, the voice is different. There's no clown puppet. Like, there's so many changes to show you, like, no, this isn't Saw. This is somebody inspired by the original run, doing his own thing. It was a smart idea.
Yeah. I was at no point was like, God, I miss Billy the puppet.
Yeah. And targeting cops. Yeah, doing the pig, targeting cops, like, the irony, like, it worked.
Knowing that it wasn't John Kramer, or more than likely not John Kramer, I was also not, like, missing that as hard. Like, Saw 3D on the rewatch, I was like, you know why this one sucks? Is because Tobin Bell is not in it. He's in one little scene of Saw 3D.
Yep.
Whereas 4, 5, and 6, he's dead, but he's in those movies all throughout, like flashbacks, and carries every scene that he's in. It's like, oh, this is the good stuff. 3. And he's not Jigsaw very much, but when he's in Jigsaw, it's...
Yeah. Yeah, Tobin Bell makes Jigsaw relevant.
Dude, we don't talk enough about how good he is at playing
John
Kramer. he doesn't have to do, like, he doesn't oversell it ever.
No,
There's never a scene where he is playing Jigsaw that I'm like, man, he didn't sell that.
over what 7, 8 movies, like he really doesn't rage out very much. He has like a very like honed in performance throughout the whole franchise. He's very chill throughout, but still creepy.
Because like the scenes where he does kind of like raise his voice or like get angry, it's like more effective. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
you know, he's not fucking around. He means what he's saying. I don't think he gets enough credit. I don't want to be one of those things. He's kind of an old guy. I don't want to be one of those, like, give them their flowers while they're still alive. Like, Tobin Bell's, he's fucking great. He ranks up with, like, the greats. Like, you were talking about the movie itself ranking with, like, Scream and A Nightmare on Elm Street. I don't know about that. I think in terms of, like, horror icons,
yeah,
he deserves to be in that conversation with Robert Englund and Brad Dourif and all these guys who have just like, you can't recast.
exactly.
Like, you can't make a new Jigsaw. It's like, no. That's why they haven't. And every movie is something like every movie where he is not like the guy, like where he's not pulling the strings, he's always pulling the string. Every movie since like Saw 3, they make a point to be like, hey, you're not Jigsaw.
Yeah.
They did it in Spiral. Chris Rock's eyes were like moons, and he was like, you're not fucking Jigsaw. Like, he just looked at it, you're not Jigsaw. And that's the whole thing. Amanda, Hoffman, all those people, that's always been the thing. It's like, all right, I'm about to die. You're not Jigsaw. So I'm like, it's true. It's true.
Yeah.
So I like that. That's something else I caught, and then like really caught in Spiral. I was like, they say that all the time. Because you're just not the man. You're not the guy. He's the guy. But I still want more sequels. I want more bullshit. Like, he's been dead since he's been dead for 15 years now. I want more. I want more sequels.
But it's like I would like I'm greedy, man. Like, as a movie fan, I'm greedy. Either next May or next October, that's when I want the next one. If it's Halloween, it must be Saw.
It must be Saw. Like, that used to be the thing.
That,
and
man,
I'm like,
I was gonna open with that instead of I want to play a game. I was gonna open with, if it's Halloween, it must be Saw, but it's May, so it's Spiral.
It must be, yeah, and I hook, line, and sinker.
And
I
that
was
too.
I was like, I am the audience for this bullshit.
Like that too. Spiral coming out in May shows that it's not a Saw movie.
And it worked. I just think it worked. Like, horror movies don't have to come out on Halloween. They used to come out like annoyingly close to Halloween.
Yeah.
It was like 2 days before Halloween. I was like, no, I need to hype.
No, like,
I need like a week before Halloween.
All the Saw movies except Jigsaw, are all like October 24th, October 27th. Like, right
they were
there.
Like Halloween Eve.
One of them, maybe like 6 or 7 came out October 31st.
Yeah, and like they had to drop the second week.
Yeah.
There has to be, like, I bet if you look, like, they probably all dropped second week.
They got their budget back, though.
But yeah, they get their budget back, like, in a day. The Spiral's got a bigger budget, and they're calling for between, like, $9 and $16 million or something for the weekend.
Are they really? I was looking it up earlier. I didn't see results.
I didn't see results, but that's what they were, like, predicting. They were, like, 9 to 16. Like, it's a weird window.
Yeah, it looks like 8.7. That's around what Wrath of Man did. That's not bad.
It's not bad. That's what it made?
Yeah.
Well, I was hoping for better.
Yeah, I wanted at least 10.
Yeah, it's gonna make its budget back, but still,
for sure.
I was hoping people were just.
It doesn't look like Mortal Kombat even finished in the top 5.
Or Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat hasn't had the strongest legs. It's almost at 40 overall.
My theory is it's like they cut the showing a day.
Yeah.
I'm like, already? I mean, there's gonna be somebody.
Raya finally topped Tom and Jerry.
It's like they're both coming out Tuesday.
Yeah.
Who's going to see? But The Croods was number one at the box office, like, while I had it. Like, I was like, I just bought this, and it's number one at the box office.
The Croods made like 58 million grand total. Yeah. That's kind of impressive in the pandemic.
Good job
for
The Croods. I was proud of that. I was hoping Spiral would just come out and, like, be the movie. Like, people are hype. Fucking Chris Rock. But, I mean, it's doing fine. I mean, that's fine.
Yeah.
I feel like we're already starting to kind of forget when movies were making, like, $1,000. The War with Grandpa made $400,000 this weekend. I feel like we're already forgetting that.
Let me see if I can find a Spiral budget.
I'd say like 20 something.
Spiral. 20.
God, that's not smart. Jeez. But like you look at like Saw 1's budget was probably like $1 million, $2 million maybe.
Yeah, you know Danny Glover's taking a whole million.
Yeah, like that shit worked. That is like Paranormal Activity. It was like $10,000 to like make that movie, and it made over $100 million. I think that's still the most profitable movie of all time. But I think Saw was on that list for a long time.
Which one?
Paranormal Activity, I think, is still the most profitable movie of all time. Like, they made it for like $10,000, and it made over $100 million.
God.
Yeah,
aren't they trying to revive that shit?
It takes place in like a house. It was like the director's house with a camera. So it was like, but I think Saw was on that list for a long time because the first Saw.
This says production budget $15,000, post production $215,000, box office $193 million.
That's Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, that's a good flip.
Yeah. I remember seeing that shit in the theaters, like, before it was wide. It was maybe, like, 2 weeks or so before it opened wide. But theater downtown had it, and I went with a group of people from work, and it was packed. There were people sitting on the floor. Like, it was packed. And, like, people threw their popcorn in the air. People ran out of the emergency exits. Like, it was a whole thing. Like, people were terrified of that movie. And I was like, oh, this is special. This is something different.
Dude, I thought they were doing another one. Originally scheduled for release March 19th, 2021. The movie was delayed to March 4th, 2022.
Yeah, they said that last year.
Due to negative impact, COVID-19 pandemic on cinema, the project was skipped theaters and is going to Paramount Plus.
Christ.
Yeah. But I think it's time to put a bow on it. I want y'all to comment, man. Comment, social media, YouTube, Anchor. Let us know, like, your favorite Saw traps, your favorite Saw movies, what you thought about Spiral. And then, next episode, we could talk Zack Snyder, Army of the Dead coming out. We could talk Disney live action remakes, or A Quiet Place 2, or just sit and stare at each other for 2 hours with our thumbs up our ass. Man, I'll figure it out. It's Rec League. Yo, I'm a solid dude who enjoys his solitude. I'll be making silent moves like them Shaolin dudes. Y'all be getting fucked like y'all prostitutes. Only time y'all spit is if y'all lost a tooth. I leave them impressed. The boy bars go harder than a mug. Lyrics leave them shocked like they stuck a fork in a plug. I'm supposed to spit. Ain't like I chose the game. I'm a lazy ass couch potato sofa gang. If she ain't talking brains, she don't come close to Crane. I'm not feeling your rhymes like I abused the Novocaine. Lyrically, I'm on a roll, only hundreds on skee ball. I gotta get this bump out my shoulder before I look like something off Total Recall. It's not all black and white, you bitches rap like you gray with the R missing. I have you motherfuckers looking like Bucky Barnes with an arm missing. Soldiers on the front line, nothing interfering with our mission. We not doing our fucking job if you haters aren't dissing. And chill until the next episode.